Yes, people, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Happy Friday. Yeah, it's been a good week, hasn't it? Wednesday, we beat Everton. This Sunday, we'll come against Spurs. We're going to wait until tomorrow to do that preview. That's going to be dropping in the morning on my way to London. So stay tuned for that one. In this video, we're going to talk about some breaking news today. Now, I mentioned it on the channel a while ago, actually, a bit of an exclusive for you. You know what I mean? I snipped it in there. But didn't want to really come out with it until it was official. But I said in a couple of videos, we will be going back to Saudi Arabia this winter, and the club have confirmed that this morning. Now, they have said they did a little release. Now, it kind of got leaked a little bit early last night on Twitter. It was doing the rounds because one of the Saudi news outlets and the clubs that we're playing had put it on their Twitter. So they had put out images saying that we will be playing Newcastle United in December. Quite ironic that the players they used for that image was Kieran Trippier and Bruno Guimaraes. Two of Newcastle players that won't be there in Saudi Arabia because they will be at the World Cup in Qatar. Well, by the time this game plays, actually in December, we'll get into the dates and stuff. England might be knocked out. Brazil, probably not. But I wouldn't imagine they'd still be coming to Saudi Arabia. That'll be an interesting one, that. If two of our players who are in the group stages, do they get knocked out? Eddie's calling them back and then flying them out to Saudi. We'll wait and see, but that doesn't really help because then that would be a bit too much going on, I think, at that time of year. But it's an interesting one, this. We'll go through what the club have said and I'll give you my thoughts on it and I'll dive into what I think the pros and cons of it are. Make sure you are popping your comments below. But exactly what the club said this morning was that Newcastle will travel to Saudi Arabia for a warm weather training camp this winter as the Premier League pauses for the World Cup. The Magpies will visit the country's capital on the 4th till the 10th of December. So during that time, the 4th to the 10th of December, that will be the round of 16 at the World Cup. So that's the first knockout game of the tournament. After the group stages, you've got the round of 16 and then the quarterfinals is on the 9th of December. So England could be playing twice in that spell if they get through. Snoozegate, Southgate, Fraudgate, depending on how he gets on. Yeah, but 2 games there for England to potentially be playing on those dates at Newcastle, and the 6 days that Newcastle are away, the week or so that they're away in Saudi Arabia, England should be playing twice, the round of 16, the quarterfinals. Now I say should, because our squad is very good on paper. The semi-finals of the World Cup on the 13th and the final after that on the 18th. Then of course, back in action, Premier League action on Boxing Day. So it is a funny one that the players are going away during that time. Actually, I'll stick to what I said. What I said I was going to do was read the statement and then I'll get into my thoughts, all right? So we'll stick to that. The club mentioned how obviously Newcastle travelled to Saudi Arabia in this January of 2022 when they visited Jeddah and won 2-1 in a friendly there. And then Eddie Howe mentioned this in his press conference. He mentioned that last time it was a great idea and it worked a treat. You know what I mean? He said that when they gave them loads of confidence, the team bonded. When they came back, they went on that unbeaten run. So he sees it as nothing as a good thing. And he's also, because the club mentioned here, last time after they visited Saudi Arabia and they came back to England, came back to Premier League action, went on to win 5 of our next 6 matches in our famous 9-game unbeaten run that ultimately seen us survive in the Premier League. Eddie Howe said, the break for the World Cup gives us the opportunity for a mini pre-season ahead of a crucial part of the season, and I'm pleased to have finalised our plans. Our trip in January was pivotal for us last season, galvanised the group. The hard work the players put in was rewarded in performances and results on our return. Now, what I've got to say on that is I'd rather be in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or Qatar, somewhere warm, Tenerife, in those months, you know what I mean, in December rather than in Newcastle where it's going to be bastard freezing, probably snowing, dark, gloomy, dark when you get up in the morning, cold, dark in the afternoon when you finish work or whatever you're doing, dark all day. It's grim. I hate the winter, me. Much more of a summer man. But in the winter, you know what I mean, it's going to lift spirits. I think if you're waking up every day in sunshine and there's a beach next to you and you've got pools and whatnot like the world have in Saudi Arabia, better than waking up in Newcastle and going to bloody Benton, isn't it? At the training ground in Benton, going to train at a snowy B&Q. You know what I mean, the snowy primary school training ground. It's better than that. So that's a lift for mental safety and physical. You know what I mean? I'd be more motivated to get up and go for a run in the morning when the weather's nice rather than when it's absolutely freezing. There's slush out the door, not slush puppies either. Ice slush all over the ground. Your Range Rover slipping and sliding out your drive. Not mine, the players. Wish I had one. But you know what I mean? It would be a lot more better to wake up in those kind of settings in a warm climate than a freezing one. And Howe mentions that the facilities over in Saudi Arabia are going to be better than the one here in Newcastle. He says we're going to have access to world-class facilities as refurbishments at our own training ground continue. So he highlights it himself there. He knows, it's pretty obvious, that the training ground is pretty crap. You know what I mean? It needs done up. It needs a lot done to it. No fault of the new ownership or anyone at the club now. You know, it was Ashley. It was him. He neglected it since he took over. That training ground hadn't changed since the early 2000s. So he never touched it. But now the new owners also well done to them. So while the players are away using world-class facilities in the Middle East, the ones in the North East will be getting done up, revamped, money put into it, and better for when the lads come back, and better for some January signings. And anyhow, he said he looks forward to playing in front of our growing number of supporters in the region, and that's brilliant. Very good stuff, you know. I'm very glad that Newcastle are getting more of a global fan base, and in Saudi Arabia, I do hope they're wearing Newcastle United merchandise, Newcastle United kits. It's class to see. Right then, so you get the gist of it. Newcastle United heading to a warm weather training camp in Saudi Arabia, 4th of December till the 10th of December, during the knockout stages of the World Cup. Now, obviously, quite a few Newcastle players won't be there. You know what I mean? Obviously, the main ones being the likes of Bruno, Trippier, and a few others. But, you know, there's some big players left at home this winter. The one that springs to mind is Alexander Isak, our record signing. He will be in Newcastle because he's injured. So he's missing out going there. Alan Saint-Maximin, always injured, still injured at the minute. He can have a good spell in Saudi Arabia. He won't be going to the World Cup, so he can have a good spell in Newcastle, getting ready for Saudi Arabia, going to Saudi Arabia, training there, using the facilities, relaxing and working and improving his fitness. You know, John Joe Shelby, these type of players can all grow and improve and get fitter for a big part of that second half of the season, which obviously we'll aim to finish, whether it be top 6, top 8, top 10, whatever, but they'll be sharper, better and sharper heading into the last few months of the season, which will be a packed, busy few months with the way the calendar's looking, with the FA Cup starting then, if we're still in the League Cup, and obviously the Premier League games, we've already got to catch up on the likes of West Ham away, that was cancelled due to the Queen's passing. So it's going to be a busy end to this season, a busy January to May. So there's a lot to be done there. The players need to be fresh for it. I think it's a good idea. Personally, I think it's a very good idea. I think it's good that we're not just resting on our laurels, that we're not just saying to the players, go on, you can chill out and watch all the World Cup games, which obviously they can do in their spare time, but it's not just like, well, there's a World Cup one, so we'll just take it easier. Imagine if Bruce was in charge. Jesus Christ. Bruce would be going to Disneyland for the entire duration. He'd be saying to these players, do what you want. Bruce would be out there eating In-N-Out burgers, the big candy flossers, big popcorn, the lot, in Disneyland, going on the Jurassic Park ride. That's all he would be doing, and all the players would be free to do whatever they want, travel around the world with the birds, whatever. You know what I mean, take the family to Hawaii, whatever. But now Eddie Howe's here, a proper system is in place. We're going to keep the training regime, and we're going to use it, as Eddie Howe says, as a mini pre-season. It's like a winter pre-season. You know what I mean? It gives players a chance to get up to speed, get up to scratch, make sure they're sharp, make sure they're fresh, keep it in the tank, keep it running over while the World Cup's on. I think it's a very good idea. Again, it increases our presence over there in the Middle East. It grows our fan base, it grows us commercially. We can link up with things over there, get deals sorted, show the owners a bit of us again, show fans over there. I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm all for it, me. Like, I'm all for it. What else is there to do? Like I say, go to a training ground in Newcastle that's going to be snowed over, iced over, you know, or just chill at home, watch a bit of World Cup, watch the group games, you know what I mean? No. Get working. If you haven't made it for your country, you're still working for your club, because there's still a big long season ahead. It's not like the World Cup, Euros, normally in the summer, massive break, do what you want, go away with your family on holiday. Nah, let's graft. We've got a season to do here. There's still football to be played, and playing a match out there as well will help, you know, keep up the match fitness, keep up the match sharpness. It won't just be Newcastle that are doing this, by the way. You'll start seeing teams pop up with we're going on winter World Cup breaks as well. You know, they'll be going for warm camps. Maybe Australia or Asia, wherever, you know, the other teams will be doing this. It'll just be highlighted because it's Saudi Arabia and it's Newcastle, and all the hating journalists and whatnot, they'll be coming out the woodwork. But I'm a fan of it. I would love to go. But I'm working a lot of things, other freelance work during the World Cup. Actually, we've got a video coming next week of what's happening for the World Cup for me. Mainly the England games. NX Newcastle, which was the O2 Academy, will be showing every England game live there. £10 a ticket to get in. Me and Keith Downey will be hosting that event live on stage with some ex-Newcastle legends. So those games are going to be unreal, so I've got to prioritise that. For me, I want to be here anyway when the World Cup's on. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be great to be here when the World Cup's on. Actually had a chance to go to Qatar. Don't think I'm going to do that. But there's a lot of freelance work that I'll be doing, not just for NX, for the England games. There's other stuff I'm going to be popping down to London now and again to be doing shows there, presenting things down there. So it's busy for me. You know what I mean? I've got to pay the bills. I can't just jet off on holiday if I want to. I've got to pay the bills. I mean, I'd love to be in Saudi with the lads, as if I'd be there having a drink with them. I'd love to be over there, experience I said when we got taken over, to educate myself, I'd love to go over there and see it firsthand instead of reading about things in the press. I would love to go over there, and one day I think I will. But for now, busy World Cup. You know what I mean? There's a World Cup to be done, there's work to be had, and I just want to watch England as well, to be honest. But next summer we'll be focused on Newcastle a lot more for stuff like that. But like I say, I've got some exciting things in the pipeline, work-wise and enjoyment-wise, I suppose, this winter for the World Cup. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how England get on. Be more World Cup stuff like that closer at the time. But Newcastle, will focus on that now. Saudi Arabia in December. Good warm weather training camp. I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea. Let me know below what you think of Newcastle jetting off back to the Middle East. Drop your comments below. Also, check out the video I did with Sport Bible where I was sticking up for Kieran Trippier. Speaking of the World Cup, did a bit with the Lad Bible down in London where I had to back his case for why he should be starting in the World Cup instead of the likes of Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. So go have a look at that. It's on my Instagram at matty.tmc. It's on Sport Bible's social media pages as well, their Instagram and whatnot. It was a good laugh, good day out that down London, good film. So have a look at that. And yeah, subscribe to my channel TV and enjoy yourself.